I'm now going to do page 2 of the Review for Final Exam, chapters 4 through 5. Numbers 17 and 18, I'm not going to do, I'm just going to show you real quick so for example, on number 17, when you have x plus 9 times 2x minus 6 is equal to 0, remember, the zero product property is just saying one of these have to equal 0 in order for this whole thing to equal 0, to be a true statement. So I'm going to take each factor, x plus 9 is equal to 0, and 2x minus 6 is equal to 0, because either one could be equal to 0 in order for the entire equation to be 0. I'm going to solve for x there. X is equal to negative 9 here, and x is equal to 3 here when you show your work. You're going to do the same thing for number 18. Number 19 through 22, you're going to factor them. Number 19 is a nice easy one to factor, x squared plus 7x plus 10. Why is it so easy to factor? Well, a is equal to 1 here. I need to think what times what multiplies to get 10. That adds to get 7. That's 5 and 2. I write my factors out as x plus 5 then, times x plus 2. I then, like I did on 17 and 18, set each factor equal to 0 and solve for x. Number 20, 3x squared minus 10x plus 8 is equal to 0. There's no GCF, but I can multiply 3 times 8. That gives me 24. I set up my puzzle. What times what multiplies to 24? That adds to get negative 10. That's going to be negative 6 and negative 4. I then rewrite everything. 3x squared. Negative 10x is broken up into negative 6x minus 4x, and then plus 8. I factor by grouping. 3x squared and negative 6x have a 3x in common. I'm left with x minus 2. Negative 4x and 8 have a negative 2 in common. I'm left with an negative 4 in common, x minus 2. How did I know to factor out that negative there with the 4? Well, I know that because my leading term there is negative. I now rewrite x minus 2. I write it once, x minus 2. 3x minus 4, the leftovers. I've factored it. Now I set each factor equal to 0 and solve for x. Number 21, I'll let you try on your own. It's just like number 19, where number 19, a is equal to 1, so it should be relatively simple. Number 22, 18x squared minus 2. It's 2 terms. If I'm solving by factoring, I'm going to think, what GCF do they have in common? Well, they have a 2 in common. I'm left then with 9x squared minus 1. Both of these are perfect squares with a subtraction. I take the square root. I'm left then with 2 times 3x minus 1 times 3x plus 1. Refer to the factoring video if you're confused about the perfect squares one. Set each factor equal to 0 and solve for x. Number 23 through 25. Just remember GERMDAS backwards. In number 23, I'm going to just talk you through it. I'm not going to solve it all the way. Look for that addition subtraction step first. We want x by itself. Get rid of the subtraction of 125 by adding. We then have 5x squared is equal to 125. Now I'm looking for that multiplication division step. I have a multiplication of 5, so I'm going to divide by 5. I'm left with x squared is equal to 25. Looking at germ dust backwards, I then look for my exponent radical step. I have an exponent, I take a radical. Don't forget your plus or minus. Number 24 is very similar to number 23. Number 25, just remember you do have a grouping symbol there now. So I have the 2 times x plus 7 squared minus 8 is equal to 10. Get rid of that addition subtraction right here first. Multiplication division here. Exponents here. Then exponent radical, then subtract that 7, deal with that grouping. I'll do it with you in class if you still need it. Number 26 through 28 is the quadratic formula. I'm not going to do these with you, I'm just going to tell you to watch out for some things. Actually, why don't I do the first one with you? We have x squared minus 6x plus 7. Well, when I write that out, I'm going to say, hey, what's my A? A is 1, B is negative 6, C is equal to 7. First, you take the opposite of B, plus or minus the square root. B squared I'm going to just do right away. I'm not going to say negative 6 squared. Hey, negative 6 times negative 6 is 36. B squared minus 4 times A times C all over 2A. I'm going to pay attention to details. I'm going to do inside here first, typing it in my calculator as I see it. 36 minus 36, oops, 36 minus 4 times 1 times 7. That's going to be 36 minus 28, which is equal to 8. So now I have 6 plus or minus the square root of 8 all over 2. I know that simplifying the square root of 8 is the square root of 4 times the square root of 2. So this whole thing here is 6 plus or minus 2 times the square root of 2 all over 2. I then am going to do my heart. Six over 2 plus or minus 2 times the square root of 2 over 2. That gives me 3 plus or minus, this is 1 times the square root of 2. And that's my final answer. Just remember on number 28, you need to get everything equal to 0 first before you go about doing the quadratic formula. And I'm now done with page 2 on the review for the final exam, chapters 4 and 5.